Don in London, hello. It's November the 29th. Hello. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My addictive substance, alcohol, my behaviour could be equally addictive towards people, places, things, collecting, trying to be perfect, never so, never got anywhere near it. Life is complicated, but it can be simple if we just keep it simple. It's me in my head which makes it good. Those are things I know. It's what do I do about it next? And so I go for advice at the clinic at the hospital tomorrow, and also in a couple of weeks for a regular review of medication and type 1 diabetes management. And you know, I do struggle sometimes saying we manage conditions, because in many respects what I've found in recovery is I don't manage my sobriety as such. I just keep it simple, one day at a time, and I get help and support from those who know how to keep sober one day at a time, and that comes in the form of fellowship for me, so the rest of my life can work. So sobriety first, and the rest of my life can work with a fellowship called AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. And I can share about me and my recovery, but I can't share about other people's recovery, because in the fellowship, anonymity counts for everything. It's called the spiritual foundation of the program, anonymity. Well, the spiritual foundation of my living is truth, and I don't mind sharing about my truth. Keeps me open, honest and willing to keep on changing. And when I don't want to go out on a very, very -2 cold day, I go, because I need to go, so I can then find out how I'm doing, blood work and all the rest of it. So life can be complicated. Anyway, fellowship, AA, what is it? Well, here we go. This is the AA preamble. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is the desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And although I've been sober joined up days for some time, life's little quandaries get to me, or I suppose inconsistencies. Often we say it's the mice in the room, not the elephants, that we have to watch out for. And this morning my reluctance to go get my blood tests, it's not that I don't like getting them, I don't mind them at all, but it means I'm put under the spotlight, and for this particular recovering alcoholic, the last thing I need is medical spotlights on me. I had enough of that when I was trying to stop drinking, and the litany of things which happened to me was quite difficult. So these days I do try and do what I'm supposed to do, even though it's reluctant, and sometimes I've missed one appointment, but I do get there in the end. And so what do? I make it complicated. I needed to go to the post office. I got there too late on Saturday to get some merchandise I bought from the US, and there was duty to pay, or customs, excise duty to pay, and I couldn't understand why. And of course there is an allowance of up to, I suppose it's $80 at the moment, to bring something into the country as a personal present or whatever. But somehow I exceeded this, and it made me irritated and discontented that somehow I fouled up. And why were the post office charging me extra duties? The answer is because they have to. And they may not like doing it, and I might not like doing it either, but it's the law. Anyway, there's another one. And not only that, I wanted a brass curtain pole. So they were next door, so I bought one. Very good value actually. And then on the way home on my bicycle I bent it. And again, you know, it's the mice in the room, not the elephants. These are not big significant things. The big significant thing is I'm alive. I'm not drinking today. So, well, we get all sorts in recovery, don't we? And of course it's bitter cold, and I don't feel well, and I don't know why. it's probably because I've spent too much time out taking photographs over the weekend, which I thoroughly enjoyed, but has now made me feel ill. I don't go well with cold these days. Anyway, so there you go. Sobriety is what it is. Ups and downs. And the elephants in my life are sober, making sure I am aware of where I am with that. Diabetes, where I am with that. Clinical depression, where I am with that. And my relationships and my life. Family, community, and being a part of. And helping people as best I can. Anyway, I share from this book, Daily Reflections, and today, November the 29th, it talks about active guardians, and this applies to everybody in fellowship and how we go about it in unity, service and recovery. And I guess I get challenged every day I do a video on this score. To us, however, it represents far more than a sound public relations policy. It is more than a denial of self-seeking. This tradition is a constant and practical reminder that personal ambition has no place in AA. In it, each member becomes an active guardian of our fellowship. The basic concept of humility is expressed in the 11th tradition. I bet you should read it out so you know what it is. I'll read it out properly. Our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio and films. So although I do these videos as a personal video on recovery, mainly aimed at people who are already in fellowship, the most important thing for me is attraction rather than promotion. So attraction is what you see is what you get. What you see is what you get. And promotion is a guarantee. So always for me, what you see is what you get. And sometimes, like today, life is frustrating and difficult. And it's just the way it is. But if I try to say, life is always good, then maybe I would be trying to sell you something, an idea or a concept, which would save your life. And what I know most is, what you see is what you get in fellowship. Experience, strength and hope of sobriety, from newcomers to old-timers, people who've been around a while. And it's always subject to life experience and what's happening in life. So there are no guarantees. Life will be difficult. It just will be. So I don't try and pull any punches. And it goes on to say, the 11th tradition, it allows me to participate completely in the programme in such a simple yet profound manner. It fulfills my need to be an integral part of the significant whole. Humility brings me closer to the actual spirit of togetherness and oneness, without which I could not stay sober. In remembering that every member is an example of sobriety, each one living the 11th tradition, I am able to experience freedom because each one of us is anonymous. And anonymity is a two-edged sword. It depends on our outlook. For me, truth is paramount, and that's my spiritual connection to reality of now. So anonymity is important so people have a place to find themselves. I fully agree with that. Open, honest and willing on a daily basis to meet life's challenges. And one of the most important life challenges is to share what it is and what we get. What you see is what you get. So it is profoundly difficult sometimes to live life, and sometimes it's profoundly wonderful and profoundly sad. And somewhere in there is some balance, often. Even at extremes, there is a balance somewhere. Difficult one. And I do see the challenge in that, always, to tell the truth. And what helps me most on a daily basis is the serenity prayer, which can be to good conscience or to God, as you understand, nobody else, your unique, authentic take on life and God, all good conscience. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And for me, it is always just for today. Don in London, hello, it's November 29th, 2009. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My addictive substance was alcohol, my behaviour well, cross-addicted, I guess, workaholic, relationshipaholic, any sort of old olic you can think of, and drinking 35 years, a long career. And I never knew just how much it affected my life. Ignorance is not bliss. Actually, ignorance, when we find out the truth, can be quite disheartening when we realise we've gone through the mill and all the rage comes out about what happened to my life and all those awful feelings of anger, frustration, denial. And then we start to actually get to understand that we were in a place of addiction, which is a disease. It's a disease which tells us we haven't got it, and then we proceed to ignore it. And we drink more and more and more, trying to get the old effect, and it never quite works the way it did. And I guess that's the same with anything that we become addicted to be the perfect drinker, the perfect worker, the perfect relationship person. You name it, we tried for perfection, and it didn't work. So these days I'm quite happy to make progress and keep in recovery one day at a time. And the reason why I always emphasise one day at a time, that's about the limit of a human's capacity to exercise good choices. And if we try to make it longer, we would start to run on self-will. And what I learned over the years now is that self-will will let me down. Humans don't function well on their own, and when we're trying to fight something alone, we find ourselves falling down more than standing up. But, you know, alcoholics are durable characters, and we still get up, and we still try again and again. So I got a moment of clarity, thankfully because of friends, family, professionals, who kept me alive long enough to see I couldn't do it on my own anymore, and that I needed to be included in some way into society. And I found a way, or rather there was a way there for me to find. So professionals kept me going, family loved me enough and more, and I started to understand that life was possible again. And where did I get this information, or this way of living? Well, from those who had the experience, strength and hope to share it. And that happened to be in the fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. And AA serves many people very well as a place to find a way into sobriety and stay there. But it's not for everyone, so there are other ways. Anyway, fellowship works for me, and as the anonymity bit as part of the fellowship, I believe it's important. It's the sanctuary to find the truth of who we are. So anonymity is of extreme priority. So I never speak for people in the fellowship because they're unique and authentic, and I never speak for AA because it's a fellowship of unique, authentic people. But I do share what works for me, and it's all around fellowship wisdom. So the gift is I'm in the fellowship. It stops me drinking, or it doesn't stop me. It gives me the choice to drink or not on a daily basis, and so far for a little while it's been to drink. No, it hasn't been to drink, it's to be sober and drink tea. So the fellowship has a preamble which is shared at the beginning of every meeting, or a statement of intent, and it goes like this. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And what the fellowship gives me is an action program to work on a daily basis, to live life, to experience life, and that's the 12 steps of action to change my attitude and behaviour in any given moment of today. And in this little card here, which I was just reading from, it has inside the 12 steps and 12 traditions of AA, and 12 steps, 12 months. So November, all about the 11th step in my videos, and it reads, well, I won't read it from here actually, I'll read it from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, which is one of the books of AA, this one. Just the summary, because time is short, and it goes like this. So step 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. And, you know, it took me a long time to understand what God could be in my life, or who is God, or what is God. Is it a practical measure? Is it something which it's just ethereal or ephemeral? Well, it would be ephemeral, it's just a day long. But, you know, what is God? Well, it's not my understanding which is important, it's yours. But to share what mine is, God for me is truth. God works through people, God is love. So things I can understand. Not some person sitting on a cloud with a harp. That would be an angel anyway. But, you know, however we understand prayer and meditation, whether we believe in God or not, it has a place in our spiritual life. And whether we like it or not, we have a spiritual life. Because that's the nature of truth. And it goes on to say in the summary, meditation and prayer are main channels to a higher power, and I connect with good conscience, to truth, to the wisdom of others, and to love. Connection between self-examination and meditation and prayer, which is to look at how am I today, what may I do to improve life generally, not just for my life, but for everybody's life. An unshakable foundation for life, which is about inclusion and being a part of and not excluded. An individual adventure, yes, because we found our truth of now, and each person is on their own personal journey in their own personal space. First result is emotional balance, and that is balance of where we are today, the good of us, the bad of us, the things we do well and the things we're making progress on. Daily petitions for understanding God's will and grace to carry it out, which is for me finding the truth of now, and then not merely me deciding, but looking how I may be in society, civilization. Actual results of prayer are beyond question, rewards of meditation and prayer. It all seems to right-size me on a daily basis. That is, I'm no bigger, no smaller than anybody else. I don't have a better idea or worse idea. I certainly make some difficult decisions which may or may not help me, but I try and do it to the good of good conscience. So prayer and meditation, I always start with the Serenity Prayer in the morning, but I also start with step 1, which is I am powerless over alcohol, and if I drink, life will become unmanageable. And I'm also powerless over people, places and things, their attitudes and behaviour, so all I can do is improve my own attitude and behaviour, and stop judging others, or not get in their way, and let them get on with their lives. But, you know, the whole point of this, prayer and meditation, is to calm us into living one day. And if we live one day, we've got a good chance that we will experience it. And in As Bill Sees It, this one, sort of congruent with the prayer and meditation, and living life as is. It says here, troubles of our own making, just the first paragraph, page 272. Selfishness, self-centeredness, that we think is the root of our troubles, driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking and self-pity. We step on the toes of our fellows, and they retaliate. Sometimes they hurt us, seemingly without provocation, but we invariably find that at some time in the past we've made decisions based on self, which later placed us in a position to be hurt. So these days what I try and do is keep away from self and self-obsession, and get to a place where I take account of others and the whole big picture of life. And what helps always for me is the Serenity Prayer, which is part of my daily meditation, no matter what is going on, right or wrong, good or bad, is to God, to the God of your understanding is important, not mine, but to God. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference is just for today.